Hi, my name's Jennifer Doheney. I am the founder and CEO of WELLOGA, and thank you so much for joining. Today is a 30-minute online session learning about how to make protein smoothies. And WELLOGA is a partner with the Westin Harbour Castle, and every month we do one of these sessions. So you can sort of think about, are you a guest of a hotel? Are you an employee? And there's an opportunity for you to come online and learn with us every month about how to travel in a healthy way. That might mean how you're sleeping or snacking in a healthy way, taking care of your mindset, staying grounded, maybe even moving in your body. We also run some classes in the hotel. So if you are a guest or employee that is on site, we would love to see you. We've got Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and now Saturdays in the morning. So please check out the schedule. We would love to see you. And today I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes with you talking about protein smoothies. Now, if you think about that word protein, it's really a buzzword right now when it comes to dieting. And what I wanted to do today was to show you kind of a lot of different elements of things that can go into smoothies. And it doesn't matter if you are vegetarian or you're vegan or you do eat meat. I'm going to show you a lot of different options. So the way I'm going to format the show today is what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about specifically sort of the foundation of the smoothies. So proteins and really where they come from and how you can buy them yourself and what the differences are. And then you can't see everything that's in front of me here, but I'm going to pull it all out one at a time. We are going to cover fruits and veggies and sort of why you might choose certain things based on how you're feeling so that you can really make a smoothie that's ideal for you. We're going to talk about sweeteners. We're going to talk about natural sweeteners. We're also going to talk about some artificial sweeteners if you're thinking about reducing some of your calorie intake, or maybe you're sensitive to sugar. Now, just so that you understand who I am celiac, and I've been celiac for, I want to say, 19 years, which is a really long time. And I'm also very sensitive to sugar. Now, I'm a very active person. I absolutely love to eat, but those limitations sometimes make me have to get creative with the way that I'm eating. But of course, I need to fuel and you need to fuel. So let's show you how to do that in a really fun way. The other pieces that I'm going to cover with you guys is I'm going to sort of talk about some like add-ons, right? So cacao powder and some turmeric and things like that that you can kind of have around your house, keep them in your kitchen and just add in as you like. So you know the direction that we're going and you were excited to stay for the entire session. We are going to do one chocolate-based one vanilla berry based one, and then another one that is veggie based. And when I say veggie based, there is some fruits and veggies in it, but it's totally vegan as well. So there's definitely something here for you, okay? Like I said, let's go through all of the different elements so you've got a really good understanding. So even if you know how to make a great smoothie, maybe you walk away with a little bit of extra education or even some great shopping tips. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to first kind of cover what I've got on my board here, and you're going to have to be patient with me. I'm in my own kitchen at home. I might turn around and blend the smoothie, and I'm just going to talk to you guys as if you were a friend in my kitchen. So again, thank you so much for being here. If you guys have questions about anything as I go through, please just pop them into the chat box. That works for me, and we will answer them as we go. Hearts, thumbs up, anything good to help me keep pace so I know I'm going fast enough. All right, let's talk about protein. Now, when it comes to consuming protein, and you think about that sort of in the grocery store, protein is usually the most expensive thing that you are buying. So you want to be smart about what you're buying and also be knowledgeable. Now, we're talking specifically about smoothies today, and I make a lot of smoothies. Believe it or not, a lot of these things are just kind of in my cupboard all the time. I have a smoothie every morning for breakfast. Now, if you've seen me around the hotel, I teach hot yoga before I start my workday almost every day, with the exception of the mornings that I'm at the Westin Hotel. It's not hot, but we're still moving and we need to fuel. Every time I finish my movement from the morning, the first thing I move to is my protein smoothie. Now, I'm not here to give you health advice, okay, or to tell you how much protein you should be eating, but we're going to talk in generalizations so that you sort of know where you might want to fall. Generally speaking, you want to eat about a gram of protein for every pound of fat or pound of weight that you have, pardon me. So if I weigh 125 pounds, ideally I want to eat 125 grams of protein. It's really hard to get to that number, especially if you're not having some kind of a supplement. That is how I feel anyways, because of course you still got to eat all the food. So let me show you some tricks about how you can get there. I think realistic, you guys, for me, I try to get to 100 grams of protein. And if I get there, I can usually stay satisfied throughout the day, have all the energy that I need, but I'm always trying to look for smart ways to introduce protein into my life in as many ways as possible. All right, so let's talk about some things. I might talk about products here, and I'm not here to necessarily sell you that product, okay? I'm just telling you what I found that I think is very helpful and that works for me. Okay, we're gonna start here with these 3 scoops. They're all slightly different sizes, and I'm gonna tell you about each one. Now, the first one I'm going to say is my absolute favorite. I do eat meat. This is a whey protein, so if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can't have this one. But it's 33 grams of protein. Now, one of the benefits of a whey protein is that they do tend to have more grams of protein within it. Okay, so compared to something that this is a vegan version, this is 23 grams. I've looked around high and low to find higher amounts of protein. Typically, when you're looking for something, a supplement, you're going to get about 25 grams of protein. So 23 for vegan is not that bad. This one here is 33, right? So you can already see that you're adding into some of your total number for the day. And I really like this one. It is not flavored. It's a natural, neutral flavor. So I also use it for baking. So if you're just kind of thinking about how am I spending my money and what else can I use it for, you can honestly do anything with it. You can substitute it for some flour and muffins that you're making, pancakes, all that kind of stuff. Now you can do the same thing with these other ones. I just like this one because it doesn't have a flavor attached to it. Sometimes if you have a whey protein, they can have flavors, and I'll show you a container here. It's a grass-fed whey protein. I think this one is from Australia. The other thing you guys want to look for is when you're buying a protein, especially if you're conscious of price, a lot of times things that are very inexpensive have a lot of sugar in them. So this also doesn't have any sugar, which I think is really helpful. Now, the next one down is chocolate. Now you have options, right? So if you're going to use the chocolate protein, it's nice that you don't have to add extra flavoring into it. And of course, protein comes in all the different flavors. I find if you only have money to buy one, it's great to buy one that's just no flavor at all, or even vanilla, so that you can just build all of these different smoothies that we're going to make today. But I wanted to use all the different ones to show you guys your options. All right. You can also throw protein powder just into water if you just need to get the job done, but that's not what we're here for today. We are here to have fun and enjoy food and create something beautiful. So, okay, let's quickly go over that. The whey protein, the plain one, is 33. The next one over is 24. It's chocolate. And again, I don't really need to show you guys all the different brands, but this is sort of a sport one. This one is a little bit more calories. This is 180, this is 130, and this is 120. And most of them have almost no sugar in them. So all really good products. And this is the last one here. Now, sometimes if you are vegan and you're going for vegan products, or even if you're not vegan and you're going for vegan products, sometimes they can be a little bit more hard to digest. Well, I guess also a vegan might have a hard time digesting some of the whey, but don't give up. Okay, there's lots of different products out there. Sometimes you might be sensitive to like a pea protein or something like that. So just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's made out of the same thing. So this one is a sprouted protein, and it has a whole bunch of different things inside of it. So I'll just let you guys sort of go to the store and you can figure out the one that works the best for you. But you really want to have a base. Now you might be watching me and say, you know what, no way. I don't want to eat anything artificial. And we also have a solution for you. So let me walk you through. This cup I have here is a fifth of a brick of tofu. Now it is uncooked. Like it's not heated up again it comes pre-cooked. It's not heated up again in the oven or on the stove. And a fifth of a brick, it's great. It's very affordable. And this is about 10 grams of protein. So you can just think about the volume and what you're dealing with. If you don't want to eat soy, and some people don't want to eat soy, I eat a lot of it. You can sort of move towards nuts and milks. Okay, so we're going to give you an example of milks afterwards, but I wanted to cover these ones for you first. So everybody always has some nuts around. I always have almonds around and walnuts. So almonds are great to throw into the smoothie. Now, just be mindful that there is a lot of fat. Now, of course, there's healthy fat in almonds, but you don't want to throw in like half a cup of almonds. Number one, you'll be way too full and you won't be able to drink the whole smoothie. But, somewhere between 8 and 12 almonds is good for one serving. Okay. And this smoothie that we're making, The chocolate one is about 400 calories, so it's really filling. Um, the berry one is probably the same, where the veggie one might be about 300. Okay, so just kind of keeping all that stuff in mind. One of my very favorite tricks, and of course you guys can have a look at the brand if you wanted. You can see that through the shine, PB and Me. This is powdered peanut butter. And I don't know how the world didn't tell me about powdered peanut butter because I love nut butters, but they can be full of fat. And if you eat too much of it, might not be ideal. And this powdered peanut butter tastes exactly like peanut butter. So you get the flavor that you're after, but the calories and the sugar are way, way less. Now, you wouldn't use this to totally substitute for whey if you were going to eat whey, because 1 teaspoon of this is 4 grams of protein. But just think, if I took this one, 33 plus the 4, you're already at 37. And then we're still going to add yogurt in and other things in there. So it really gets up there. So you might end up having a protein drink that's upwards of 40 grams of protein, and you're almost halfway towards your mark for the day. So I'm a big fan. All right, I hope that some of that stuff is helpful for you guys, that you can kind of start shopping and start looking around. So you're looking for something that is, of course, reasonably priced, ideally something not flavored if you can only afford to buy one, which is normal, that you want to have low sugar in it. And then it has extra things in it like BCAAs and other types of recovery items inside of it. It's all excellent, right? Going to help you to recover from all of your movement. All right, I think what I'll do is I'm going to set these aside. I wanted to cover each thing with you guys before I make the smoothies, because the smoothies themselves don't take that long. All right, so what do we put inside of our smoothie? I'm going to give you guys some tips. I often put frozen bananas in. Now, frozen bananas make it that frothy kind of taste, and this is going to go into the chocolate one. We'll make one in a little bit. Now, I only ever use a half a banana, maybe even less, and I buy my own bananas and I chop them up in a Ziploc bag and throw them in the freezer. You can buy them, but I think that this is a more affordable way to do it. And of course, you don't have to only have frozen bananas. You also have some fresh ones as well. I'll tell you another secret just because we're here together. If you guys like to bake and you like to use bananas and you don't want to wait for them to ripen, you can also freeze them and then just kind of warm them up again, and then they're mushy and you can do all your baking with them. I like to do that stuff too. Okay, cherries. These are dark cherries, and we're going to put this one in the chocolate one as well. Dark cherries are excellent for inflammation. So it can kind of give me a heart or a thumbs up if you ever have any type of inflammation. Just the world that we live in, of course, oftentimes we're inflamed for all kinds of reasons. And if you have a sensitive belly or any kind of like autoimmune challenges, celiac like me, this type of thing is really helpful, right? Now, when you're putting fruit in your smoothie, you don't need a lot. These are little ramekins. It's roughly about a half a cup, and that's all you need, even if that. Right? It's not even full all the way. And I buy these frozen in a bag. I also feel like frozen fruit, generally, with the exception of the bananas, is very affordable, right? They just stay in your freezer. They don't go bad. You can use them for lots of things. The other one that I got is just mixed berries. Now, mixed berries is one of those things that it's a little bit sweet. And this one has some mango and some pineapple and some strawberries. I won't go over what all of these things do, but generally speaking, it's nice and easy on your belly, right? So it's not going to agitate you or aggravate anything. I'm going to go over some veggies. And sometimes when we eat a lot of veggies and there's a lot of fiber inside of it, it can feel a little bit aggravating. So I just want you to sort of understand, what are you after? You want to be full, you want to feel relaxed in the belly, relaxed digestive system, or are you looking for some of that extra fiber for other reasons? Okay, I'm going to take a little pause here. I know I'm giving you guys all kinds of information. So really interesting secret, if you will, is my sister told me about something. Now, you can put avocado in a smoothie, and I'm going to use that one in the chocolate one, and make it really thick, almost like a frosty or like a milkshake. And if you don't want to eat avocado, because again, it does have fat in it, and maybe you're being mindful of that, or you don't want to eat it all the time and you want to change it up, you can use the frozen cauliflower instead. So you may or may not, it doesn't have that strong of a taste, a little bit, but you're going to bury it with other things, but kind of interesting, right? Good little trick. I've got some blueberries here. Blueberries are also great for inflammation. Yeah, they're great for all kinds of different things. It's like a superfood. And let me pull out this last tray here so you guys can see. And we're going to get into some veggies. I'm going to talk to you more about combinations of things when you put the items into the veggie version. But you kind of want to be careful. You might think lots of fiber is good, but remember when you eat a lot of fiber in your body, one of the things it does is it sucks up all the water in your body. So yes, it does kind of help everything pass through, which of course we need. But when you have too much of it, especially when you're not used to it, you can kind of feel bloated afterwards, and you want to feel nice and smooth as you're drinking things, and it should feel like a pleasure and a joy. So just be mindful of how much fibers that you're going to put into your item. And I'm going to go through some of my choices and see if you guys like it. Okay. We have a cucumber. Now I'm going to cut the cucumber here while I'm chatting to you guys. And I've washed the cucumber already. The skin on a cucumber, I think there's about, I don't know, half a dozen different veggies that you want to be careful of from the grocery store that carry a lot of pesticides on the skin. So we just want to peel the skin off. No, you can eat the skin. I know the world is full of things that we need to look out for, but I'm just sharing what I know. So again, sensitive belly, we want to get all the veggies in, we want to get the good stuff in. You can take off the peel and then you don't need to worry about anything that's extra sitting on the skin, but we wash everything, of course. Cucumbers are full of water, so we don't need to worry too much about how much we use. I would say I use anywhere between half and a quarter when I'm making mine, and I've got a big container that we're going to put them in. Ginger. Now, I'm going to make a recipe for you 1, 2, and 3, but you could definitely swap things out and you could put ginger into anything. Ginger is wonderful for inflammation. I'm sure that most people know that. It's very calming, and it's almost immediately calming when it hits your belly. Now, I love the flavor, of course. It adds a little bit of spice. So just be aware of how big your piece of ginger is. You'll know if you put too much in one time. I'm going to say that like half an inch is probably good. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this trick. A lot of people use the knife to take all the skin off of the ginger, but I'm just using a plain peeler, and that makes my life a little bit easier. It also doesn't waste any of the ginger. All right. So we're getting ourselves all ready. Just take a piece like about that big. Is that? Yeah, it's about a half an inch. And I'm just going to put it all back on the plate so it's ready for us when we're making our smoothie. Limes are wonderful to have, and it balances really well with mint. So just think about mint too, right? It's really calming in the system. It also smells delicious. From an aroma standpoint, when you drink your smoothie, this is really what will hit you first. And now you can do lemon, ginger, right? That always makes a great combination. And you can also do lime. I'm going to do lime today. I really like the way that it mixes in with the recipe I'm going to make for you guys today. Okay. So last but not least, we're just going to go over some of the things that are add-ons. I wanted to tell you about these add-ons because, of course, we're making smoothies and maybe protein is not your focus. You just want to get kind of veggies into your body, and you want to have something that's smooth and lighter, not too challenging to have for breakfast. If you don't want to buy a chocolate protein, you can buy cacao. Now, don't buy cocoa powder. It's cacao. It's the unsweetened one. And it's great to eat. It's a heart opener. It's like a natural medicine, right? A little bit of chocolate. I also have some ground up pumpkin seeds here. It's not an item I usually buy, but someone gave it to me and it's really helpful. I eat a lot of pumpkin seeds on their own, and pumpkin seeds are really great for like balancing out your hormones and things like that. And so I thought, oh yeah, I wanted to learn a little bit more about that. Now it also has fiber in it. So protein, yes, fiber, yes, fat, yes. So when you are adding things in, like let's say a flax seed or a pumpkin seed or these hemp seeds here, I've got one more, I think, to show you, chia seeds, they're all the same. They all have so much nutrition in them. They are going to really start to fill you up. You know, a lot of this stuff doesn't have a lot of taste once it's in the smoothie. So you can kind of think to yourself like, oh, what does flax do? And is that something I want to add into my life? Just take it easy with how much you put into each one. And if you don't want to worry about too much about like how to measure stuff out, just start with a teaspoon of each one of them. Maybe don't do them all in one smoothie at the same time, right? You can kind of check them all out. Anyone have any questions? I'm giving you so much information. Yeah, we're okay. All right. Yeah, in case I didn't mention to you here, I also have some chia seeds. I'm not sure what I'm going to add into that green one yet until we get there. We're going to feel it out. But chia seeds, when they are in water, maybe you make chia pudding, they grow. And so just because they grow in water outside of your belly, they also will grow inside of you. So they're really wonderful to eat because they're full of nutrition. But if you have all of these different kind of fibrous foods inside of one smoothie, and you all of a sudden you feel like after you drink it, an hour later, you're really full, and that's why, right? Because it's going to kind of expand. So we want to eat all of this stuff, but we need to be mindful of what it is that we're going to be putting in terms of quantity. The last thing we'll talk about before I get into the mixing is I'm going to talk about an avocado. I'm sure everyone has seen this trick by now. If you're going to cut an avocado, you can just take a knife, run it down the center, spin it, open it. The side that has the seed in it goes in the fridge, and then you can put it in a plastic bag, and the seed helps it not brown. I go through avocados so quickly. You can go online and say, how much avocado should I be eating a day? And usually it says half. Now, remember that if you are eating a lot of like nuts and seeds and all of these other things that have a lot of natural fats in it, you probably don't need to eat half, especially let's just say you use the almonds as your protein and this. I would just go into a quarter. So that's what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to use a quarter. All right. So let's get into the good stuff. You ready? We're going to start off. So I'm going to use a magic bullet. I'm on my third one, I think, and not because it's not a good machine, but because I have been making smoothies for decades. And I also make salad dressings and everything in here. So we're going to use the big container here for this one. And we are going to start off by making our first smoothie. I think I ate this one for, I don't know, every morning for many months. So we're going to start off with this vanilla protein. This is our 33 grams of protein. And I'm going to put a quarter of an avocado in. What is the purpose of the avocado? It is, oh, you know what? I'm actually going to change my mind. I'm going to do my chocolate. I'm going to do the chocolate protein. Okay, so I'm going to do the chocolate protein, not do the cacao. And I'm going to do a quarter of an avocado. Now, the quarter of an avocado is to make it smooth and it makes it really thick and delicious. So even if you're just going to make it very simple, adding a quarter of an avocado is going to make it incredible. We are going to put our banana into this one. You can kind of imagine, you guys, you could do the banana and then add a little bit of peanut butter. So we'll do that today. I'm gonna step it up a notch. So I'm gonna use a tablespoon of the peanut butter. It's more for the flavor than for the protein, but right now I'm probably at about 30 grams of protein already because I've added some extra in. And I am going to I'll use milk. So this is another great trick. If you guys are searching out protein, is this protein is called Silk. Now it is a nut-based brand and there's many different types of brand. This one is almond and cashew, but some of them say protein right on it. Now you can buy a cashew milk and it has no protein in it. So they've added something extra in here and also has all kinds of different vitamins in it. Now a whole cup is 8 grams of protein and half a cup is 4. So I'm going to add a half a cup in here. Now the reason I didn't go for the yogurt in this one is because the banana is in there. So you kind of think about balancing out heaviness. Right. And I'm going to add these cherries in, these frozen cherries. So I've got my fat, I've got my fruit, I've got something that's filling, I've got my protein in there, and it's not quite full to the top. What I do is I add a couple of ice cubes in. So I've got 2 here. Don't put too many ice cubes in, you might break your machine. And then you guys, we've got a whole bunch of different options here. Now, because it's chocolate, I'm not going to add a sweetener in, but I'm going to talk to you about sweeteners for the other ones. I love coconut water, but coconut water has a lot of sugar in it. So sometimes I use a little bit and sometimes I don't use any at all. So today, I think what I'll do is I'm just gonna put a little bit in to add some sweetness. The cherries are a little bit tart, and then I'm gonna add some other water in. I don't always use flow water. A friend of mine gave me a couple of boxes. I felt quite fancy getting to drink out of these beautiful alkaline spring bottles of water, but it's not something that I normally purchase. So of course you can just use regular water. And that's it, you guys. We're just going to mix it up. You know, sometimes I used to do things like add flax in there as well, but for me, the flax was more for the fat, but because your avocado's in there, you just don't need it. And then we blend. And so, like I said, I'm always on the go, and especially in the morning. So this mason jar sits in my car waiting for me for when I finish my class. And you guys could do even what I'm doing today, kind of prepare a couple of them and keep them in your fridge. Now, they're definitely better when you make them fresh because you can imagine like the frozen berries and the frozen banana. It's a lot more frothy. And then when it goes into the fridge, it's not going to stay that way. Okay, so that was that one. It's one of my favorites. It's a go-to. So there wasn't that many things inside of it, was it? Kind of simple. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the berry one. We're going to use the vanilla protein here. I'm going to put the berry mix inside, and I am going to use just a half a cup of Greek yogurt. Now, a half a cup of Greek yogurt has, I think I remember it being either 4 or 8 grams of protein. So there's a good amount in here. I do buy the plain one, not the vanilla one, because it doesn't have any sugar in it. And I also can use it for baking and other things. So here we go. Add that in. Do the same thing that I did the last time, and I'll add a little bit of coconut water, a little bit of regular water. Now, you guys can sweeten this up. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm going to show you some options right now. So one of the things that you can do is to add in some cinnamon. Cinnamon is also a great herb to have around. It's good for you for lots of different reasons. I think I focus a lot on anti-inflammation things for skin, things for not longevity, but for anti-aging. And so I often use cinnamon, and I'm using a quarter of a teaspoon here, so I put in 2, so that's half a teaspoon. I also love the smell of nutmeg. So lately I've been adding a little bit of that in. So just think about, get creative. Do something that's going to make you happy here. Now, it didn't put any avocado in this one, which means that there's no fat in there yet. So I am going to take some of this flaxseed and I'm going to add that in too. I'm telling you all of these things based on experience. I was putting sort of a lot of these extra added things in and realized that it was just too much for me once it sort of came into my system. So I just like to be a little bit mindful about all of that stuff. And I'm going to put a couple of ice cubes in. Now, the protein that I put in there doesn't have a flavor, right? So I put fruit in there, so we know it's going to taste like fruit, and a little bit of sweetness because of the coconut water. If you wanted to sweeten it up, but you didn't want to use anything in terms of calories, you can always buy a vanilla extract. Just be very sparing with putting it in. And that's what I'm going to do today. And you just pour it into something so it's not too strong. And literally it's like just a couple of drops, and then you can kind of move it off here to the side. I want to talk to you about a couple of sweeteners. Maple syrup. Are you Canadian? I know that you might be living in another location, but in Canada, maple syrup is a staple around the house. It's a wonderful way to sweeten things up. You don't need a lot, but you could also put a dash of stuff in there as well. Honey. Okay, so you wouldn't use both. You'd sort of use one or the other. Now today, because I'm doing this with you guys, because I wouldn't necessarily do this if I was just on my own, but to do a little bit of coconut sugar. Have you ever used coconut sugar before? Give me a heart. Give me a thumbs up. I went on a diet to remove some sugar from my diet because it was causing me to have inflammation and this type of thing. And I ended up learning a lot of interesting information. And one of the things was coconut sugar. And so if you look at the back of the coconut sugar, it's only 15 calories for 1 teaspoon, which is very good. And of course it doesn't have, it's got 4 grams of sugar in total. Okay, no protein, but it's lower than what would normally be in terms of sugar. And so I'm just going to take a little bit and add it in, and we're going to blend this one up too. Did we miss anything? I don't think so. I think we're doing pretty good. And I only have one of these blades, so bear with me. I'm going to give it a rinse. So please write in the comments, tell me what your favorite smoothie is. Did you learn anything new so far? Anything that maybe you would like to try? Is anyone a meal prepper? I really try to stay organized. I was talking to somebody today after class and saying that, meal prepping all in one day can feel quite overwhelming, but even what I'm doing right now, for the next 3 mornings, I won't have to make a smoothie, which is kind of a joy. Just waking up and having things ready. You're that kind of person. I don't have to drink all of these in front of you guys because I know what they taste like, because like I said, I drink these all the time. I think the last one you'll find the most interesting. So this is the one with berries and nutmeg, and it's got yogurt in it and the vanilla protein. So far, both of them are about 40 grams of protein that we've created. Pretty good. And then of course, I just put the lids on them afterwards. we're going to use a slightly bigger container to come up to the last one. And this one, I'm going to use the tofu. Now, when you get home and you decide that you want to try some of these things out, you might think, oh, there's no way I would do the tofu again. That's fine. Maybe you don't even want to do the same amount. But tofu is a great way to kind of start the base off if you are vegetarian and vegan. So I'm going to put it all in there. It's also a big container, isn't it? And I'm assuming everyone's going to be as hungry as I am after their morning workout or their afternoon workout. But you can also just drink half of it, right? Okay, so we've got about 10 grams of protein in there right now on the bottom. I am going to add some avocado into this one. So we'll use the other half, and then we're going to add the veggies. I always have spinach around. I washed this one already, and I'm going to put it in there. It's a great way to get greens into you in an easy way. Now, also, if you find you're one of those people who buys spinach and it goes bad, freeze it because it's perfect in smoothies when it's frozen. You'd never know the difference. We're going to take a little bit of ginger and add that in. I'm also going to add the cucumber. There might be a little bit more than what I wanted to add in, so we'll leave a couple of pieces out. And mint. I want to definitely add mint in. Now, again, everything's been washed, but you don't need more than probably 1 leaf, but I really love it, so I'm going to add in 2. And I also have a half a lime that's already cut up, so I'm going to add that in. Now, because this is a show and we wanted you guys to have lots of different ideas, of course, this session is not about making juice, but I also really love to make juice. And one of the things I wanted to do today was to just show you guys some options so that you know that you can mix and match at home. I made some homemade apple juice to go into this one. So just kind of think to yourself in your own palate what's in there right now. It doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, does it, except for the mint? So we want to sort of start to make it a little bit more exciting. So one of the ways that we're going to make it exciting is we're going to add some applesauce, or not applesauce, apple juice in. I used 1 green apple and 1 red apple. So it's a mixture, and that was a half a cup that I'll add in. I have some more for later. So that's the kind of a nice base here for me. Now this is another trick, full of tricks. Hopefully you're going to learn something today. So this is the same Greek yogurt I used in the other one. And we talked about maple syrup and honey. And I mentioned to you that sometimes people just want to stay away from sugar because it does cause inflammation, but sometimes it does agitate people's body. And you naturally just get a lot of sugar anyways. If you look at the back of a plain Greek yogurt, you're automatically going to get, I don't know, 4 or 5 grams of sugar regardless. So I found this fabulous product, which I wanted to share with you guys. It's a stevia product, and I think I saw it a lot on social media, on Instagram, with people making different low-calorie desserts. And I ended up finding one of them. Now, this is a maple flavored stevia, and so it tastes like maple syrup. And you have to be very sparing with it because it's not natural. So it has a strong taste. I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 drops in it, and I'm going to mix it in, and it ends up making the yogurt taste like it's got a maple syrup taste to it. And so again, it's no sugar. We're just going to bring it in. This is going to be delicious. Blueberries. So this is the other fruit that I wanted to add into this one. You could definitely add in bananas, you guys, if you wanted. Of course, there's lots of different options. I won't put all these blueberries in, but I'll put in some. And then we also have our cauliflower. I'm going to add a little cauliflower in. It's a lot of goodness in there, isn't it? It feels heavy too. The last thing I wanted to say to you guys is, of course, any of these things are options, right? We had our ground pumpkin. We're not going to use that. I'm not going to use any more fiber in here just because we've got the spinach and the other elements in there. But the other thing that you might want to do as well is have a little bit of turmeric around. Sometimes I drink turmeric just a little bit in a glass. It always makes my belly feel great in the morning, kind of when you sleep with it in your system. If I was going to use it, I would use just like a sprinkling of dust. It might make your green smoothie go a little bit yellow, but that's okay. And I think that's it for sweetness for me. We're just going to stick to regular water for this one. There we go. We're going to blend it up. Now, with everything that I put in there, we've got the yogurt and we have the tofu. It's probably just shy of 20 grams of protein. So a lot less than the others, but it's full of veggies and all kinds of things that are good for you that you need to eat anyway. You can see the drinks at the back here kind of, you could throw some nuts in there too, I guess, if you wanted to bring up the protein. You can see it separating a little bit at the back, so don't be afraid to shake your smoothie. Now that is a nutritious smoothie, and it's definitely great for somebody who doesn't want to use the protein powders and some of those other manufactured items and they just want to eat whole foods. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that you learned something from this session and that you enjoyed yourself. I always love spending time with you guys, and please remember to come back. We do this every month, half an hour, learn something new about how to stay happy and healthy while you're traveling or even while you are just having your regular work-life balance. And have a great afternoon. Bye.